All right, man, we back. Goodfellas Sports TV. Yesterday, the Denver Nuggets completed the comeback and they beat the Los Angeles Clippers 104-89. Let's talk about the game. Hit the subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And what it came down to was Jamal Murray. He outscored everybody. He had 40 points yesterday. And that's what happened. I said if he can go off, it's a wrap. And Jokic only scored 16 points. He was 0 for 4 from three-point land and 5 for 13 for the field. But he got 22 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? He got 13 assists, I believe. And he poured in 16 points, but he had 5 turnovers. But other than that, they benched and give him nothing, Denver. This game was winnable for the Clippers. Gary Harris poured in 14. Jeremy Grant poured in 14. Paul Millsap poured in 6. But pretty much the bench didn't give them nothing. But Clippers got some bench points for Montrez, but Lewis still ain't show up. Montrez scored 20 points. Paul George scored 10. Patrick Beverly scored 11, and Kawhi only scored 14. And people. Let's start off with Kawhi. People calling Kawhi the Bron apologist. You get Kawhi's he's choked. He's a choker. No, this ain't that. He had one bad game. The rest of this series, other than game 2 when he didn't score in the fourth quarter, he carried this team. To be honest, he probably was tired as shit. We know he got a chronic injury. He probably was tired of carrying them. He didn't get no help. Paul George poured in a couple games, but other than that, Patrick never showed up. Trez just showed up in Game 7. Lewis didn't do his job. It's a lot of dudes out here who didn't do what they were supposed to do. Nobody was consistent this series other than pretty much Kawhi Leonard. And people saying, well, Kawhi, he's a choker. This is the LeBron apology. But people forget, LeBron got swept by the Spurs. LeBron got beat up by Dwight Howard. LeBron didn't score no points in the fourth quarter versus Dallas. He choked versus Dallas. He couldn't play without the he couldn't play with the air conditioning on in San Antonio. He choked that series. The series before he choked versus San Antonio, Ray Allen just, saved his ass. So, with people trying to, Bron apologists trying to talk about Kawhi, everybody has a choke moment. I mean, Zeke gave the ball to Larry Bird. Jordan missed plenty of game-winning shots. You know what I'm saying? Who else we had out there? They called Magic tragic after he got beat by Larry. And he didn't show up in a couple of those games. So everybody has a moment. Jerry West couldn't get over the hump. He was like 1-8 in finals. He finally got one. But what defines you is you a chronic choker. Kawhi's proven to be big time. Nobody perfect in the crunch. Nobody. And LeBron is far from perfect in the crunch. Most of LeBron crunch time plays come versus with the Wizards in the playoffs, the Bulls, teams that he posed to beat, the Pacers. You know what I'm saying? He didn't choke so many times in the finals. He's a chronic choker. You can't compare that to Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my opinion on that. But the Bron apologists trying to push a narrative. That's why I hate basketball now, man. They making me really not like sports. One time you have a bad game or a bad game 7, you would choke. Come on, man. LeBron been choking forever. He's a chronic choker. Kobe missed big time shots to put the game away. This shit happens. But right now, this game just came down. Mike Malone had his guys ready. He outcoached Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers said this was on him. Doc Rivers deserved to be fired. He sucks as a coach. He's just been blessed with talent, in Boston. And the only reason he didn't have talent in Orlando was because Grant never recovered from the ankle injury. And he turned Tim Duncan away. Okay, if you don't know that story, look it up. But Denver a good team. I said, when I made my first prediction about, what was going to happen, Denver was going to be a team that could possibly beat the Clippers out. And people didn't even pay attention. The Clippers could have got beat the first round had Porzingis not got injured and Luka not turned his ankle. They was on upset alert the first round. Ain't none of these dudes play good. It was Kawhi saving their ass every time throughout these games they was winning. So the writing's been on the wall for the Clippers. But, last night, Jamal Murray just got into one of those zones. And the Clippers, all the wings the Clippers got and all the defenders they got on the wing, Patrick, Kawhi, and Paul George, they didn't look like they could stop a nosebleed this playoffs. Real talk. It didn't like they could stop a nosebleed. They couldn't stop Luka. They couldn't stop Porzingis. They couldn't stop Trey Burke when he got hot. They couldn't stop Tim Hardaway when he got hot. And they couldn't stop Jamal Murray when he got hot. So for the reputation of being a lockdown defensive team, they couldn't lock down nothing. Then they don't have no answer for the no centers. They don't have no answer for Jokic. None whatsoever. There's no answer for him. And that's the problem. That's one of their biggest problems this year. They loaded up on wings, but didn't load up on nobody that could defend the paint. You know, it was rumors they was talking about getting, Andre Drummond from my Pistons, and they said they didn't trust him in the playoffs, and they wanted to re-sign Montrezl Harrell. Why the fuck would you re-sign Montrezl Harrell? He serves no purpose on this team. You need a 5 that can defend the paint. He too little. He not Ben Wallace, nowhere near it. I wouldn't bring him back. I would sign and trade him somewhere and try to give me a real center. But what about Zubat? Zubat is a good backup center. They need somebody that's athletic and that could defend the paint. And that's the problem. The Clippers have no interior players. Montrezl is best as an undersized 4. Zubat is an unathletic 5. Outside of that, who do they got? They didn't want to play Joakim Noah. Why not play Joakim Noah? He could have did better on Jokic than the rest of them guys. So Doc Rivers didn't make no good adjustment, man. I would have started Lewis Williams. Ain't no point in starting Patrick Beverly. I would let Lewis Williams get into a rhythm early, ran some plays. But Doc Rivers is overrated. Mike Malone out-coached him. He had them boys ready, man. And Murray just came out gunning last night. 40 points, man. And when he heat up, it ain't really nothing you could do about it. He was 15 for 26, 6 for 13 from the 3, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. They starters was perfect from the free throw line. Matter of fact, the team was perfect except for Plumlee. He missed 1 free throw last night. You know what I'm saying? So they took 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 free throws last night. So let's see how many the Clippers took. And they wasn't a bad game. They called Montrezl took 9. JaMychal Green took 2. That's 11. 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, they really won a lot of free throws shot last night. No, the Nuggets shot 93.8% from the free throw line, and the Clippers shot 75%. The Clippers shot 25.7% from 3-point land and 37.8% from the field. Shit. Denver shot motherfucker 35.1% from 3 and 49.4% from the field. I thought this was a lockdown defense. Steve Ballmer got to make the right decision. Fire Doc Rivers. Bring somebody in there that know what they're doing. Like I said before, I don't think you can go from Doc to a Chauncey Billups or a Tyronn Lue-Cassell. He need a proven coach that can come in there and do it. I don't even know who the hell out there. To be honest, you got Tyronn, Chauncey, Sam Cassell, David Finsdale still out there. I don't know how people feel about Kenny Atkinson, Mark Jackson to be perfect. I would like to see them bring in Mark Jackson, fire brother and hire brother. But right now, Denver got a lot of momentum. They matched up really, really well with the with the Clippers. I knew it because they didn't have an answer for Jokic. And, pretty much Jamal Murray woke up. That's all she wrote. But I think it's some adjustments they're going to have to make going to the next series. And I'm going to do a prediction video on that. There are some adjustments that need to be made. I'll just give you a preview. I will put Millsap on the bench. I think I will start Plumlee to match up with their big fellas. And I would go with Grant. But, it'd be nice if they had Will Barton. I think they'd win. They'd probably beat the Lakers in 5 if the NBA allowed if they had Will Barton. But they got a nice little squad, man. So they go deep. And remember, they backups gave the Lakers all they wanted in that game, in that seeding game. So they know how to play the Lakers. I think they match up well with the Lakers, especially with Jokic to be able to take Anthony Davis out the paint. Jokic usually struggled with athletic centers. But I think he figured it out going up against Rudy Gobert. So, we'll see what they do. But yesterday, Miami and Boston with another team. Nobody talking about that choked up down the stretch. Jason Tatum and them just straight up choked. And they did. Ain't no two ways around it. They did a beautiful job on Jimmy Butler for the first 3 quarters. And then, Jimmy Butler figured out, let me go to the paint and get fouled. And they had 3 guys that scored 20 points for the Heat. Crowder been showing up big in the playoffs. Dragic and Jimmy Butler. I mean, Bam had 18 and 6. But, looking at the game in Miami stole one. Boston was the better team last night. Miami just stole one. Boston made a lot of mistakes down the stretch, showed that they was young. They got out rebounded. That shouldn't have happened. Bam should not end up with 6 rebounds. And I just don't get it. Why they only ended up with, let me see how many rebounds they ended up with. They ended up with 41 rebounds. And Boston ended up with 37. So, it seemed at one point they was getting killed on the board. So, I guess maybe down the stretch they started doing better. But they got to do better early on. Dragic was killing them. And, Miami just played a better game down the stretch. They had more poise. They hit more shots. And the execution was better, man. And, Jason Tatum shooting a deep 3 when they up by 2 to win, to put the game into overtime. I mean, to stop it from going to overtime and win was a dumb decision. I never understood you down, it's even, and you go chuck up a 3. Or you down by 1 and you chuck up a 3. Brad Stevenson should have drew something up where, Tatum get the ball going to the rim. But, I just didn't understand that. But, Tatum ended up with 30 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks. Kemba Walker, terrible, 6 for 19, 1 for 9 for 3. 19 points. Marcus Smart balled out. He shot 50% from the field, 9 for 18, 6 for 13 for 3. And Jaylen Brown, he scored 17 points, 16 for 14, 3 for 4 for 3. They benched, didn't really give him nothing. Wanamaker gave him 11 off the bench. But yeah, man, they just gave this game away. Kemba played shitty, boo-boo. Yeah, like I said on my social media account yesterday, my personal, I said he going on the Kevin Love list. And the Kevin Love list, for people who don't know what it is that he's a good player. He was a good player in a bad team, putting up great numbers. And when he got to a championship team or a team that had winning ambitions, he didn't put up those same numbers. You know what I'm saying? And that same thing for Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker in a position where in Charlotte, it really wasn't no pressure to win. Now it's pressure to win. Now he can't really function the same way he functioned, and that's crazy because when they went to the championship in UConn, well, it's not really crazy because they had no expectations to win the national championship in UConn at all. They had no expectations. So he didn't have to play with no pressure on his back. And that's the problem. Not pressure on Kemba. Kemba can't function. If Kemba just hit, half his 2 more 3-pointers out of going 1 for 9, they win. I just think Miami outwheeled Boston down the stretch. They stole a game. This wasn't even the game they should have won. They let them close the gap in the fourth quarter. They was only about 10, 11, 12 points, and they let them come back. And don't forget, Jimmy Butler started the fourth quarter on the bench, and they really could have went for the kill. So some adjustments that that Boston can make, in my opinion, personally, they need to get Jaylen Brown more involved. You know what I'm saying? And they probably need to phase out Kemba Walker, to be honest. That's just the honest truth. They can say, we got faith in Kemba. Well, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I would just have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown handle the ball. You know what I'm saying? Fuck Kemba Walker. That dude ain't doing shit this year. I don't know if it's an injury, the bubble getting to him or whatever. I'm gonna go with Jason Tatum and Smart and Brown being my primary ball handlers. Kemba could sit there and spot up and shoot. That's all I need him to do. But other than that, I'm phasing him out, man. I'm cutting his minutes down. He ain't trying to hoop. I don't care if he is, man. I put Wanamaker in, somebody else in, man. I ain't, man. Fuck him. I'm just telling him, man. He lost that game for them yesterday, and then obviously Jason Tatum shooting that long 3, and then when he went to the rim, Bam made a hell of a block on Jason Tatum. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. Go up strong. Bam went up stronger. Stopped him at the rim. That's how that's what he supposed to have done to close the game out. Tatum should have went to the rim and tried to score. So, I mean, it wasn't nothing he can do. He went up strong to dunk it. People said he could have, have possibly floated. No, he went up strong. He did what he supposed to do. He went up with his right hand, and Bam went up with his left hand, and Bam made the correct block. That was one of the better blocks I've seen. Still not better than the GOAT playoff block when Tayshaun Prince ran down Reggie Miller. And don't give me that. LeBron blocked Iguodala. Fuck out of here. Man, you better go see where Tayshaun Prince ran from. Tayshaun Prince went full 90 feet to block Reggie Miller. Way better than LeBron blocked. But yeah, they won. They're going to move on to game 2. I think what's really hurting a lot of these older dudes like the Clippers, the Lakers, Kawhi, and some of these veterans like Kemba is playing every other day. But hey, it is what it is. I think Miami, they can make some adjustments. They got to rebound better early. Other than that, they showing that they could they can win this series. But I think yesterday, man, Boston gave one away. I think personally, Boston gave one away. I don't think Miami took that win. They was fortunate to get that win. So if I'm Boston, I'm encouraged. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what you guys think about both games. I have a Laker Nugget prediction later on. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. All my social media links are in the description. Want to make a donation? Cash App at CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. Appreciate the love, support. Keep sharing the videos. We gone.